Nice effects on your hair, man. It's like a hair commercial. Schwarzkopf. Okay, I guess we can start. Or do you want us? Or let's wait 2 minutes in awkward silence.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Okay, I have a little lo-fi hip hop in the background. That's
Nice.
copyright free, so that I can post it on YouTube later. So for anyone that's watching, today, this evening we have MooGaming, or your gamer tag is
Ladehkan.
Ladehkan, but
Yeah.
but why is your brand on Mixer MooGaming?
Yeah, my brand is MooGaming because it's kind of not a leftover, but it's a brand
leftover.
that I create.
A leftover son.
Okay, I started as a brand for a project that involved working a little bit more as a company. I had people and content creators and people that I hired, and when that really didn't work the way I expected, I learned a lot, but I didn't want to just let it die because that was the project on itself. So everyone knows me as Ladehkan, but I want to still grow with that brand. So I usually just present myself as Ladehkan from MooGaming. Kind of like if you know this guy, this awesome creator known as Heels versus Babyface. He always says I'm Ass from Heels versus Babyface. So it's kind of like the same deal.
No, haven't heard of him. Is he like Mixer, Twitch?
He's a YouTuber who comments on controversies involving gaming and comics and geek culture in general. So he talks about them, and he grew his channel, and then he streams from the viewers that he transfers onto from his YouTube channel.
So the information that are gathered about you're from Costa Rica, right? Born and raised,
Rica, yes.
Or imported?
Born and raised. Yes, no, born and raised. Yeah.
Okay, that's
I almost got imported into the U.S. when I worked for a gaming company not so long ago.
Oh.
But that never came to be.
Oh, was that the one that we were talking about with the? Oh, damn.
Curse.
Damn.
Yeah.
Making add-ons for WoW, or?
Actually, I was the one who worked on the author platform. There was this project that I'm never sure if it saw light or not, because I don't know if people used it, but you see that when you have an add-on, you have an issues page where people can post issues. They tend to use GitHub issue trackers and whatnot, and they wanted a proprietary issue tracker. So that was the project that I worked on in there for a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that sounds. Because I remember when I was playing WoW in Lich King, I think the curse was the biggest one with all the add-ons and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Curse is it started as something that people just kind of saw when they went into the site, but I didn't realize how big it had grown to being pretty much the author platform, and it grew into more other things, and then they had this League of Legends esport team, and they had so many things, and I was like, oh, holy crap, I just thought they were like an add-on site.
Yeah. And then later it transformed in Team Liquid or something like that, or maybe it was rebranded
the team
or split
itself,
something like that.
Yeah, it had to be rebranded, and at the time it was because they wanted to be main sponsors for Riot, and there seems to be a rule where you can't just cover one team. So it was a conflict of interest if they would have a team with their name and just have it branded as their team, because they had to be open to everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. At the moment you're at your place, or?
No, I'm at a friend's place.
Oh.
Fortunately, tonight you cannot see my awesome stream setting. No, I don't stream with a yellow background.
Yeah, because you have beautiful LED
Like,
stripped room, or and with what was it? RNGs? That the
uh,
red,
it's
green,
they were red
RGB.
and blue. Yeah,
Yeah,
RGB. Yeah.
RGB. RNG is
There's
teamfight tactics.
RNG. RNG is like, yeah, I just bought this thing that kind of just randomly creates colors out of nothing, and I can't choose them. They're called
Bec-
the RNG's lights.
because I wanted to ask you whether
Mhm.
your parents on the background on that picture or not. But I guess there's maybe your friends' parents.
That's actually no. That's actually a cool frame they did. That picture turned into a puzzle of my friend and his girlfriend.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so by the way, my IRL name is Peter. So nice to meet
Oh,
you.
okay. All right. IRL name Peter.
Yeah.
Shadow Peter. I'm gonna call you Shadow Pete.
Shadow Pete. So, uh, at the moment, you're full-time streaming, or do you work somewhere, go to school?
Yep. Actually, I've been next year. I'm gonna be working as a web developer for almost 11 years now. Um, Gaming is something that is a way of life for me, but it really was what discovered or helped me discover my professional path as a developer. And
Yeah.
just knowing, being someone who delves deep into the programming world, you can definitely understand how big that intertwines
Like,
with the gaming world. So I learned a lot about the technical side, and then I realized this whole creative side was here in place, and it was amazing. And I wanted to try it out, and I wanted to try being a content creator and a streamer. I have been doing so, and it's really, really hard, but it's really fun as well.
and do your programming skills come in handy when it comes to streaming? Like, some
Uh, More
because
about my overall knowledge of computer, to be
yeah,
honest. Sometimes you see that you can, if you that you can actually customize the code on Streamlabs if you guys use Streamlabs for your streamer setups. In some things I have actually like messed with it a bit, but not that much. Not that I
yeah,
have to use a lot of my knowledge of it,
Hackerman.
but it's always really good. It's really useful for pretty much anything that involves a computer at some point.
And programming in the as a game program, or like some app
No, I
development, or you
never.
can't talk about it.
No. That's okay. Game development is definitely an entire new, different world. I checked Unity out and started doing some things for fun, but I quickly realized how much more things are involved into a game developer. And when you have to create assets and animate things and rig stuff, which is the creation of bone-like structures that actually create the movements of things that you can program, those are not really the things that I'm extremely good at. I'm more about the functionality and the interactivity. And I couldn't go deeper because of that, because I quickly found out, or what I had read about game developers, is that there's usually no specializing side. You kind of have to do a little bit of everything if you want to make it on the industry. And I'm no artist. I'm definitely not a world creator, and I have no designing artwork or animation skills, so I would have to learn that from scratch.
So you
So
work more
what
on the user
I
experience, or the
yes and no. Since that is the combination of how a game developer should be, I'm not really a game developer, even though I know a little bit about scripting for games. I'm actually a web developer.
hmm.
So I create websites. I definitely can make them functional from top to bottom, from the database up until the user experience. But the front end side, what people see, and the user experience itself is what I specialize in.
And
So that's what.
you had a website for your brand, MooGaming. right?
Yeah, at some point we had a MooGaming.org that was more centered on the company, and but that was just a WordPress site because it's funny. Being someone who knows so much programming, I had so little time to actually do it myself. So
Yeah.
one
So
of
you,
the people that helped me was a marketing specialist, so he needs to know how to set up in a basic level sites and whatnot. So we just set it on a WordPress site.
yeah.
And then the other one that I have right now is the Moo Gaming Live, which is just like a thing that I connected with Streamlabs. It's not really that intricate. Probably should do something now that you mention it. I should use
Moog.
my programming skills to stand out. You know, why am I not doing that?
Oh, oh, the Moog Gaming that you made with the Streamlabs, right?
MooGaming.live.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like kind of using the Streamlabs same
yeah,
tools to kind of just quickly build it. It's just a place where you can see the live streams. It's connected to their tip system
yeah.
and other social tools just to quickly set something up. Maybe though, since we're talking about this and you just made me realize something, I could really stand out by doing something related to development.
I mean, if you have 11 years of experience, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
You can
that's a
probably
lot
make
of
some really amazing things to stand out. That's
yeah,
something that a lot of streamers actually can't do.
yeah. That's a
Yeah.
lot of years banging my head to the table and to my keyboard. It's an amazing industry, but Jesus, sometimes it's difficult. It makes your head just explode sometimes.
I tried I tried learning a little bit of Python,
Hmm.
and it's so hard. You know that
Yeah.
Udemy,
Right.
Udemy, where
Yeah. It's an amazing.
where you can like self study and learn
Yeah.
different things. And I bought a course,
Mhm.
tried it, but man, it's hard. So
Yeah.
I take my hat
Absolutely.
off for you. It's for 11 years. Damn.
Thanks. Yeah. Back in my day, no, I'm not really that old in programming,
Okay,
but I
boomer.
have seen the. Hey, come on, not fair.
So what's I guess it's two different things, but
Uh-huh.
streaming or programming is harder. I guess it's different skill sets, so it's hard
It
to
depends.
judge.
It depends on the person. I definitely, and here's like this is just like throwing flowers to all other streamers but me. I I what you might call it. I admire those who have a natural way of entertaining people.
Ooh,
Because the
good.
first thing that I understand about streaming is like when you and I are having a conversation, it's so much easier for me. You saw
Yes,
me when you came to know me on the stream, you started
yes,
conversation. I'm
yes.
amazing at that. But I don't think that's enough. That's not it, that's the easy part of the stream. The hard part is getting the people to start talking because they're entertained enough so that they start talking to you, and
Mm.
that's pretty much the hardest part for me. And I'd say that in between those two, for me, streaming is harder because I am a person that is naturally interested in things, has a lot of logical thinking, is introverted, and that's why the profile fits so perfectly into the skills that usually the programmer develops. On
Yeah,
the other hand, you have this whole creative side of things and this just goofy, entertaining, and engaging personality that it doesn't come natural to me. So it has definitely been a challenge for me to try and build it. I do not think that I have it spot on just yet, but it definitely is better than before.
when I hopped in onto your stream when we
Hmm.
first met, I enjoyed quite a lot. But like
Thanks.
I vibe so much with what you said, because that's one of the things. Like I'm not good at games. Okay, I'm okay, but not good enough for people to watch me just because of my gameplay. And I
Hmm.
find
Hmm.
it extremely hard talking to myself and trying
Right.
to draw people in. So I was like, okay, what can I do? How can I talk? And I can only talk like right now with another live human, you
And
know.
you know what the funny part about this is, like, researching a lot on what to do and hearing the commentary from people who are big and really know their stuff. One of the things they said is, like, if you need to create engagement, what you could do if you have no one to talk to is just try narrating what you're doing or describing what you're
Okay,
doing
yeah.
in game. And I was like, oh, that's actually great advice. The problem is I just suck at it. So what am I gonna say? Right now I'm clicking on my I key and opening my inventory. Of course I'm not gonna do that. So it's amazing advice, but I still feel that it's so natural to them that
What I have,
I try to do it, and
yeah.
I don't always get to, but sometimes I do get some funny things out of describing what I'm doing.
What I have read as well is what I think maybe could work for you is people say that you can pretend that you're like
Hmm.
filming a video for YouTube or something like that.
Oh,
Because you have like a YouTube channel as well, and you
yep,
post videos there, and you edit yourself, right?
yep,
So you're
correct.
an editor as well. I'm a lazy pleb. I use Fiverr. I found a guy that's edits videos for like $8, and
Really?
I was like, here, take this, and then he cut
Make
up.
my videos awesome, please.
Yeah, man, I found a really cool guy. Um,
Huh.
I found really cool guy. He was editing for like $25 or something like that, but he put like a lot of memes inside. I asked him just make fun of me, meme me, just do everything to make me entertaining because and he did really a good job. And but then the next time when I wanted to work with him again, he was like,
Mhm.
sorry, I'm too much pressure from school, personal life, I can't do this. And I was like, okay,
Oh,
cool, chill, man, because he didn't have a lot of experience, and I kind of love that. I like finding someone that doesn't have a lot of experience but has a lot of heart.
uh-huh, uh-huh. Huh,
It just
that's
seems
interesting.
cool. And then
Yeah,
I was,
absolutely.
or maybe that just was an excuse. He didn't want to torment himself anymore by editing my videos. So he was like, I can't do this, man. I just can't do this.
Right.
Find someone
That's
else.
I understood that Fiverr was a place to find designers and editors, but I didn't know that that it extended to that level.
Yeah,
That's
just
really good to know.
you can stream highlight, and there's a
Hmm.
few editors. I mean, it's
Cool.
like 40 bucks, $40 for like, depends. Someone who's new will ask less just to get the reviews and stuff like that. So
Hmm,
for me,
that's
it
interesting.
works quite well. But of course, do you enjoy editing? Okay, now how
Actually,
how long
uh-huh.
how long are you editing? How long have you edited yourself?
That I started checking out how to do it at the same time I started MooGaming, because that was the whole reason.
Yeah,
One of the things that I understood is that you're never gonna do it as good as someone who specializes on it, but it has been amazing to
yeah,
learn all these new things. So ever since 2017, around the start of it, around January, I started with Moo Gaming, with the
yeah,
company side of things, and I I just had no idea what to do. So I had at some point used don't laugh at me for this, but I had used for doing really simple stuff Movie Maker. Yes, I just said it. I
yeah.
used Movie Maker just to just kind of just put some things together, never something too serious. And I was like, well, I have no idea how to do this. I
But
didn't even know how to set up a stream at that time. So I
yeah,
just started just all together, researching about lightning, about sound, about headsets, about webcams, about editing, about streaming, about recording software.
yeah,
I hadn't even heard about OBS up until that.
yeah,
Um,
but
And
hmm, but I mean, I have heard people that make like for example, on MacBook you have like GarageBand.
uh-huh,
It's like a music making application, or like other
right.
free applications. I don't necessarily think that if you use the movie maker that is something bad, you know.
No, of course not. But now that I know way more than before, I can understand the limitations. So that was the problem. I was trying to use something and I wanted to do something in there and it was just not possible. So because I do a lot of UX and UI, I do need Illustrator and Photoshop. And even though I'm not a designer, I have basic knowledge of designing. I have basic knowledge of color theory because as a developer, it's not enough to just program things. You gotta talk to the designers, you got to do all
Yeah.
that. So since I was a little bit familiar with Adobe software, I thought I would give a try to Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects because I have heard that they were amazing tools to um, mess with video and edit video, create
Yeah.
things in post production and special effects and whatnot and motion graphics. So I started messing with it, and the culmination of that is the little things that you see in there. Still simple editing, but I have learned a lot from it.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's been like what, almost 3 years that I've just kind of learned the basics to edit myself into video
Yeah.
and record myself and pretty much do all those things and even a little bit of design to create the thumbnails for the videos itself as well.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Like, the main question, I guess, what I wanted to get out from this was, so you're editing for 3 years. Are you used to
Yeah.
your voice?
Yeah, absolutely. When you started doing this and recording yourself, would you hear yourself and be weirded out about how crappy you sounded? Because that
Yeah,
happened to
dude,
me.
dude, yeah, yeah, man.
It's so
It's
weird.
that's why I can't. How to say? I bet I. It's so disturbing that I better pay someone else to do it for me. Like,
But over the time, I kind of figure out that it's a combination of getting hearing yourself when you're editing yourself, and a lot of it has to do as well with the sound, and not only the settings that you put and the things that you choose,
yeah,
but how you vocalize things.
yeah,
So when I'm naturally talking, if I want to expose something, it's not going to be the same that if I'm naturally talking or having a conversation like I am with you right now.
yeah,
So when I'm creating the video, I have to be a little bit more conscious or self-aware of how I'm sounding, and you kind of get used to that.
yeah.
It's really interesting. It's so many. That's the thing that I love about streaming. I have learned so much things that are not my career, that are not even related to what I do.
Yeah,
That it was just an amazing. It has been an amazing journey learning different things.
that's true. That's what I hope also with me when I stream. Because I would like as like I said, the only thing that I can stream that where I'm talking, it's really like a podcast or where I'm talking with someone else. So I hope that by doing these podcasts, that
Mm-hmm.
I will learn to be more social, to have less like how do you say it, deaths, less silence when I talk, and learn to network better, because
Mm-hmm.
you have to find
Yeah.
people all the time and stuff like that.
That's actually an amazing idea. Like, do think you're onto something. Networking is one of my hardest things, and I think that you're already. I don't know how long ago you started this, but I'm pretty sure that you are doing better than most people, and I'm pretty sure that you're already doing better than I am on that side. That like the initiative in order to get to others to know you and know others because it is really important to have those connections in the streaming community. This is an idea that I would have never thought of on the way that you thought of it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, just so the thanks, thanks. just yeah, the main idea of this and the name INB4, it's like before something happens, and just the idea that there's always these stories like
Origin stories.
yeah, and how cool would it be if you look back, if we both accomplished something big in our lives,
And then they find us.
and then we could look back when we
Yeah,
talk now,
that's amazing.
when there was like when it was just like the beginning. It's just crazy idea, and then you're like, yeah, I know that guy, I was on podcast with him, and stuff like
No,
that.
that's definitely an amazing idea.
Yeah, and yeah, I have heard a lot of streamers also talking that they have learned a lot of stuff from streaming that they can use. Then I don't know, it's actually, I think it's becoming so mainstream and not. It's becoming much more popular, streaming and everything, that you can put it in your CV maybe after a few years, and they will, you streamed for 2 years, then you have gone through a lot of torment. Stuff like that,
Yeah, I guess as people kind of get a hang of what this is more and more, it's kind of hard for people to see value where they don't understand. But seeing it from the perspective of a streamer itself, in order to even try, not even to be successful, but to be consistent and really try, like really, really try, not saying I'm gonna stream and a week later it's like, oh no, it didn't work for me. It does require a lot of things that, in my personal experience leading people, would be one of the first things that I look for in order to have that person in my team. The commitment, the ability to self teach, the initiative, the proactiveness is one of the things that I would, not in their knowledge, I would be observing everything that they say in order to do that, because with my years of experience I have learned to do that when I'm interviewing someone and reviewing their profiles, knowing if they really have what it takes to be on the team that I want them to be.
Yeah, and I think it's now it could be a really good time. Like you said, you're interviewing people, so you when we were speaking offline of stream, you said that you at one point you were leading like a 12 people team.
Yeah, MooGaming was a 12 people team. I wanted to make it so that streamers would be recognized as part of the as part of something that should be recognized in a monetary way. It is a job. It is difficult.
In Costa Rica, right?
Yes.
In your homeland.
So I wanted to create kind of an introduction to where people were being paid for that. So I got a couple that were beginning as content creators or had a little bit of established community of their own, and I hired them. And then we needed to brand them a bit, so I hired a community manager to kind of help us out, and then I hired a marketing specialist to kind of make a little bit of campaigning for us. And we also needed designs and needed editing, and we did there were some awesome videos that we did about events that are in here, not as big as you would see a Comic Con or a BlizzCon,
Yeah.
but still really cool. So we wanted to also bring exposure to those things. So I needed someone with a really good camera and that really knew their recording and their editing. So I brought in designers. I brought in a producer, audio. I don't know how it is said in English, but I think it's audiovisual producer.
What?
And
Audio producer?
audio visual, like the people who edit videos and make motion graphics and grab things and animate them, but they also are the ones who know about cameras and they do the recording parts and like the cameraman part. So those kind of people that can make a really, really cool looking video. And I brought all of those people and said, this is what I want to do. How are we going to do it? And we started working, and that was a group of 12 people altogether that I wanted to pay them for gaming.
How old were you when you started this?
2017 is almost 3 years ago, and I'm about 28, so that's 25.
Damn. So you're my age. Damn. And you did something like that on your own, like 12 people team.
Well,
Damn.
to to be
Dude,
fair,
that's so big. How many
I
how many Joe Rogan motivational videos did you watch before you did it?
Oh man, it's really interesting. Sometimes I feel that my life has gone too quickly because yeah, at this age I have done a lot more things. But sometimes there are some experiences that I have not lived, as other people talk about it that are my age, and
Like
it's
for
just
example,
it's not. Um, Let me give you just like the quickest example. Um, I was never good for the school system because I would just not really fit, and I was the kid that would not take things for what they told me they would be. I would inquire into them, and there's a lot of teachers. Unfortunately, not a lot of them are particularly good. So when you inquire into that, they punish you for asking questions rather than feeding your curiosity as a human
yeah.
being, which is what teachers should be doing. So I always got into trouble for things like that on on school, and among all a bunch of other things, like I'm hyperactive, and that didn't sit well in a classroom. So I just I did the system where you would like study on your own, and you could just do tests and be approved by the school system that you were going on in there. And it was I went faster than usual, and I actually started college
So it's
at
like
17.
homeschooling or
Not
homeschooled or
homeschooling. It's
something similar.
specifically individual. You get the books and you can get tutoring and whatnot, but it's all.
Yeah.
So, and I started college at 17 rather than at 18. And I did it at the same time I was doing the last year. They let me, but I would have to show them the degree later.
Yeah.
So it's all really cool and amazing. And I did it super fast. And I went through college and I just blazed through it. But you can understand where things are going in this without a regular school, without friends, and without having a classroom. There is no prom, there's no homecoming, there's not a lot of things that socializing stuff, a lot of events that other people describe as part of their normal lives because it is what the norm is. But I just didn't live it.
And
So it's something that I can't say that I miss, but I can't also say that I don't, because it seems like an interesting experience that carries you a lot, and it creates a lot of networking opportunities because you know a lot of people.
mm,
So it's there's always some value to be taking out of things that on the surface might just look superficial. That's
and
the way I see it. My path is just a little bit different. Um, it's faster on some things, but lacking on others.
to me
It's
personally, I
just different.
think it's scary to go to like proms and stuff like that. I'm so like anxious and introverted that I like staying at home, you know. So if
Right.
there's like some kind of party, something like that, no thanks. I guess I'm gonna skip that. You know, I'm one of those people in the memes. It's like
Hmm.
a poisonous snake bite me, and I will not ask anyone for help because I will be too
Uh,
scared. You know, something
well,
like that.
I kind of felt the same way until I realized that the concept of party is just having fun. So I don't like loud places. I don't really
Yeah,
like drinking,
me too, man.
but
Me
I
too.
absolutely love just goofing around with friends and doing stupid things like having a game and doing a drinking contest with the game.
Okay, okay.
So there you go. So during a lot of time, we would be called losers and nerds, but who cares? I was having fun with a group of friends in my house or in wherever I was. It wasn't
Yeah,
a big party place, and it wasn't this thing that everyone would post on their social media.
yeah,
I didn't care. I was having so much fun.
yeah. It's just
So
it was
yeah,
like it was real. It was wholesome, you know.
yeah,
And
exactly.
for
So
me,
at the end, it's just do whatever the hell you want as long as it makes you happy.
yeah, the same. I mean, a few birthdays or New Year celebrations, just friends bring their PCs over, we put them on, play some League of Legends, drink some
Oh,
beer,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah, yeah.
No stress,
Never,
nothing.
I never
You know.
been one to stay up late like in a party or every time the Legend LCS finals come, we actually do a barbecue and we
Did you
actually go
watch?
through the night.
Did you watch the finals for the
This year,
yeah
did they
G2
already go
versus
through?
yeah yeah
Oh, no,
it
no,
was Europe
I didn't.
it was Europeans G2 versus Chinese Phoenix Gaming. Yeah, and
Well,
Europeans lost,
is it the
unfortunately.
one that was like in?
I think
Was that the
Paris.
Paris?
Paris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Isn't
Finals.
one gonna be presented in China as well soon enough?
I think maybe next year's.
Yeah, I think so. I might have missed that one, but last year I do remember having time with people, and it was, I don't remember the country where it was, but we were like at 2 a.m. just
Yeah.
waiting for the match to start. I was already dying, but as soon as the match started, I just kind of like recharged immediately.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Because
it's an amazing time.
I love apartment parties the best when it's like just like the
Right?
closest friends, and you just chill. Yeah.
And then you buy the semi-lethal amount junk food. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. So you were 25, and you started
Yes.
putting together a team to introduce streaming to Costa Rica, to bring awareness,
introduce streaming
and to
and
start paying
introduce-
them actually.
Yes, correct.
So where the fuck did you get the money, dog? Donations?
I
Or how many kidneys do you have?
well, that and there's always bank to rob and stuff.
or
Well,
I had I don't know, I'm not sure on this. So I was thinking maybe you ran like this media company and like a cartel on the same time, or
told you not to talk about that on the stream.
oh,
Damn.
sorry man.
Personal things. Have some respect. No, well, here's the deal. It is definitely hard. I have been a programmer for 11 years, and you understand development is a high-paying job. And I can say that I fare better than the average person here in Costa Rica, to be honest. Still, it is just what an employee payment. It's not huge, but I did get some savings, and I I
Did
had
you
to offer them something that was fair for them, but I could not offer them full payment, so it had to be in the middle. So
like
I came up with
equity
a
or
way.
something?
I told them, this is what I want to do. Do you think that it would be fair to pay you $100, $200 to kind of integrate with what you already do for a living? And would this be a fair amount of time for you to do so with these liberties and these things? And if we get to grow, I can probably hire you full time and give you better pay and just grab you as something that you can live, like pay you for this, and that you can live from this. But you need to start somewhere. So I said, this is what I offer. If you think it's fair for you, if it can be integrated with the job that you already do, if it's in a schedule that you already can. And actually the entire team was like, yeah, no, that's amazing. I never even would have thought that I would be paid for this. Of course, there were a lot of liberties, because $200 is not, it's really not gonna, it's not enough for a person to survive, right? But they had their jobs, they had their lives, and they were free to do a lot of things in their free time. And because I knew that I wasn't paying them more than just a less than significant amount, there was a lot of freedom for us to work on small schedules and just a small amount of hours per week. They thought it was great. They thought it was fair. They thought it was amazing. And the only thing why we finished this is because I had to pull the plug, because it was kind of eating my eating my savings. Because at the end, it doesn't seem like much, but when you have to pay around that same amount to 12 people, it is still a significant amount of money.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
Mhm.
Except the last part when it was eating your savings. But
Yeah, to be honest,
I'm not really sure what's the economy in Costa Rica like. You say 200, like what's the average wage full time? Let's say, I don't know,
it's quite a
restaurant or
difficult
something.
thing because there are things in here that equate to the cost of living in a place like California, so that's a lot. But the wages in here are third world. Like when I say I fare way better than the average person, is because even though things in here cost a lot, and sometimes even in places like high, like really expensive places like New York or California, the average person in here can make about what, 700, $800 a month.
But the rent is like California and
For
stuff like that.
example, not that much, but there's something cost. For example, let's see, what's the price of a carton of milk? Just like to give you a quick example,
Okay.
where you live.
Okay, wait. I actually live with my parents, so I don't really shop much, but wait. Okay, no, better. Do you have McDonald's?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say a burger. Okay, let's Big Mac. Big Mac with the Coke and French fries
French
will
fries.
be converting the currency $17, $18.
Where you live,
Yeah.
the regular combo is $18.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, in
Yeah.
here it might be from $8 to $10, so
Mhm.
it is significantly lower. It's almost half, but I'm pretty sure that the
Yeah, the average
wages
here is
over
like
there
3.5k.
exactly
Yeah.
in that 3.5K in here is on the high end. It's almost considered a luxury salary, for example.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
So
quite
if you
difficult.
compare, like we talked about the price of the McDonald's, but then we take into consideration the wage, then actually
So
yours is much more
McDonald's,
expensive.
yeah, the McDonald's combo is half of what it costs where you live, but people in here on
The
average
wage,
make
yeah, it's like 5 times
like
less or something.
5 times less or something
Yeah,
like
that's
that. Yes.
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're a lucky motherfucker. Well, but I
Can't
mean,
complain.
okay,
I work
not.
hard
I
for-
mean, okay, not lucky. You educated yourself. You know, you worked. I mean, it's not luck. You worked for it.
To be honest, there's always gonna be luck factored in because there's also programmers in here that do not have the formation that I had, and most importantly, they don't know how to do business, and companies take advantage of that to pay lower wages than they should.
Oh,
The
so
reason
you.
why I get paid so highly is because I'm good at doing business, and usually most of the companies that contact me hit a wall when I tell them this is how much I pay for it, and they actually get angry. And it's a culture
Oh,
thing in here,
that's.
trying to take advantage of those things.
But that's
It's
actually
crap.
really cool that you have such a characteristic, I guess. Because for me, I'm like really, I guess, beta. I find it hard to be like, okay, you pay me this much or something like that. You know, I'm like, you pay me this, okay, I take it. Thank you.
think
I
it's
wish
just
I wish I could learn in the future to be more to negotiate more and be more confident and yeah.
it's
So that's
it's
a
like
cool.
anything else. You just have to put it into practice and understand that if you're afraid to fuck up at first, you're never gonna do it. So if you don't fuck up, you're not gonna learn.
Mm.
The biggest mistake you can do if you want to learn something is afraid of failure. That's the only way that you're gonna learn. Failing is the best thing that can happen to you. Failure.
Yeah, it's harder said than done, I guess. But
Yep.
yeah, yep. So when Mixer called you, you were like 30 mil. I'm not changing platforms.
Absolutely. If I'm not getting paid double Shroud is paying, I'm not gonna do shit for you.
How much? How much are you paying Shroud? Now double that. So have you actually? So your podcast that you did with your media company, it was on Facebook.
It was on Facebook. Yeah.
Live. Have you streamed on YouTube Gaming, Twitch?
It's interesting because we started multi-streaming to all of those, including Mix. We had the 4 channels, but I quickly realized with researching, it was really interesting to see the diminishing returns of that. Because when you multi-stream, there's sometimes the possibility that you might come out as desperate, and that's one of the I actually corroborated that from other people, big content creators that would say this as well, and I was like, okay, not only am I noticing this, these people who make it big on this industry are telling me the same thing. So I quickly realized that, and we took multi-streaming off and just focused on Facebook Live because Latin American viewership that's where it's at in Facebook.
Yeah. And so why didn't you continue streaming solo on the Facebook? Or are you so I guess the real question would be, so you speak English, you speak Spanish,
yes.
Any other languages?
Lead talk. No, just kidding.
What's that?
Lead talk. When you are the description for when you write with the numbers rather than the letters, it's called lead talk.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you like the way that you say lead would be L337.
Oh, okay.
That's lead. So that actually has the name when people change the letters for numbers.
So you're actually a Zoomer or something.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I'm hip, boys.
How you doing, fellow kids?
Fellow kids.
No, yeah, I only know Spanish and English.
That's cool. I can say mi nombre es Peter.
That's great.
Tengo 25 años.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I have I work in a reception. And in a hotel, and we have some guests from Spain, Spanish-speaking countries, and the girls are always so cute, and so you have to learn something.
That's between you and me. That's literally all it takes to hook up with Spanish girls. You only need to know Spanish because they always die for people from other countries.
Oh, yeah. There's so. In Brazil they speak Portuguese, right?
Yes, correct.
Yes, so
technically, it's their own version of Portuguese because Portugal is not going to be the same Portuguese, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so there was a girl from Brazil, but in my mind, I thought that country speaks Spanish.
Spanish.
So I learned some Spanish. And then
and you went to talk to her in Spanish?
Then, I was left on red. But at that time, because I'm living in Switzerland, but I'm not Swiss. I'm from Latvia. So I didn't speak I didn't speak any German. So I went to learn German. And in my group there were some people from Brazil. And I knew that. And I hear them talking, and I'm like, this doesn't sound like Spanish.
Right.
And then it was like, and I was like, but this is what I wrote that girl in Spanish, but they are not talking Spanish.
So that's why she looked at me like I was an idiot.
And this when you realize something like that, and you're like your body called sweat, and you're like you feel like complete trash. Yeah.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, that was like.
That's great.
I was like, fuck.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah. So the good thing in hotel is that you need to ask for a passport. So now I know from which country they are, and I'm like, okay, I better will Google next time which language do they speak in that country. Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be better.
So getting back to the question about which language do you so why did you decide to stream English, not Spanish?
I guess
Stay on Facebook, continue streaming Spanish, or
the it was pretty much a business decision. The business model that I set up is the one that I think is the best one for MooGaming, and it's the one that I wanted to try to move the country's perception forward, not stick to the the way things working here right now, because that's exactly the problem. We are a third world country, not because there's not money being moved in here. There's a ridiculous amount of money, enough to be a first world country. It is a problem of culture, and that's something that it's something that you can change from a bunch of initiatives, and I think gaming is one of them. um, and I wanted to do it, and the business model is just not compatible in here.
mm,
So I quickly realized that if I wanted to do it the way that I wanted to do it, catering to the people in here was a mistake, because they are not used to supporting in any fashion. And that's why
mhm,
we retroactively, like a kind of vicious circle, we are not good on our economy. And it's not a problem. Like, yeah, there's a lot of problems with the government, as in any government, but it's mostly the people. The government is just the people uh, that exist in this country, and they are created by the culture.
mhm,
So I quickly realized that if I wanted to give this another try in a different way, and since I needed to scale down and continue on my own, um, I needed to appeal, or to at least be able to reach to an bigger audience, and an audience that is already higher in a lot of things, including support, exposure, knowledge of the internet, knowledge of this community. And then I could probably grow, and then with a healthy base, and already being able to earn from this, go back and introduce it in the country, because the
mm.
model itself is not going to work here. So at that point, I said, well, I need to go international. What's the best way to go international? Well,
Well, the
speaking
best way
English.
to go international is to buy a Pitbull album because he's Mr. International. Come on, bro. Ah no,
Ladies and gentlemen, the fat joke of the 90s.
he's Mr. Worldwide, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I needed to reach an international audience, and I mean, there's no denying that the best way to do that is through English. And then
I
that
mean,
was
your
the
English
perfect thing.
is awesome.
Thank you.
Is one of your parents American
Uh,
or
no, no, they're both from here.
so in
I just
school?
learned it from scratch in school. Yeah,
Video games school?
actually, yeah, I learned the basics on school, and then
Yeah.
from watching movies and playing World of Warcraft when I had to go get into Ventrilo. God, I'm so old. Ventrilo, really?
Dude, I don't remember when played WoW. I played until Lich King. I would say I was the most
Yeah.
competitive in Lich King. That was my
Hmm.
favorite expansion by
The only
far.
systems we used to speak were either Skype, TeamSpeak, or
TeamSpeak or
Ventrilo.
Ventrilo. Yeah.
Yeah, and when we went into Ventrilo, well, I used what little English I knew to communicate, but there were a lot of people talking together, spending time and raiding, and not even sometimes not even raiding, just hanging out. So
Yeah.
mm, I got to flesh out my English by speaking with them. That's
Yeah.
another thing that I attribute to gaming
And
as
it worked out.
affecting my life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and I decided that I would do that. And then the thing was, since the English speaking viewership is not on Facebook Live, and it really isn't, and I already hated how the platform works, I had to work on it, so I made it work. I said, well, this is the perfect time to change. So that's why I didn't stay on Facebook Live.
Mm.
I could be on a better platform, and if I'm already gonna reach into a different audience, might as well go to a good platform rather than bang my head with Facebook Live.
Yeah. Have you have you seen the YouTube live stuff? For me
Yeah,
personally, at the moment, it's the user experience is not really there
it's
yet.
not great, but it offers already so much more than Facebook Live in terms of the super chat and discoverability and several things that it already has,
Yeah, but
which is pretty good.
it's hard to
It's still,
understand where you find
yeah,
people because there's no like categories like stuff like that. It's just like
yeah.
yeah, it's just all over the place. That's yeah, and Mixer. What I noticed a few days ago.
Hmm.
I wasn't even. I don't think even. Maybe my Google was open, Google Chrome was open, but Mixer wasn't open. And
Hmm.
one of the guys that I follow on Mixer, it popped up on my desktop that he came
Oh,
online. And because
that's cool.
Mixer is Microsoft,
Right,
and that's
right.
something so
Oh.
powerful. Just a
Yeah.
notification that someone went online. That's something that they can really use, and it's amazing.
Yeah. I think that in a lot of standpoints, Mixer is a superior platform because they really need to make up for how huge Twitch is. And the first thing that they have been like grabbing creators and whatnot, but I think that their biggest strong point is the features that people have been asking for in Twitch that have not been given to them.
Yeah,
That is a big thing. And as far as it goes, the platform is amazing. The quality is amazing. FTL is absolutely amazing. Being able to interact with people in less than 1 second is really good. All those things really,
yeah.
I think they
Do
can
you
be
use this?
exploited a lot.
Do you use this lightning fast
Yeah,
latency streaming? Yeah.
yeah.
So
I,
your
I
internet
use
is
that.
so your internet's pretty
It's
fast.
it's not about it being super fast. It's about being stable. So the way you do that is with fiber. My internet in terms of first world countries is nothing out of this world. Is 50 megabits download and 15 upload.
Oh,
So it seems like a basic level. Like for example, what's your speed over there?
so my speed. The last time I checked, uh, I have already forgotten. A moment. Because I tried. Man. Maybe I think maybe my OBS settings are not really because I watched a YouTube video on how to set up the OBS, and it wasn't.
I
And
have
then I just put the one of the things on 4000. The bitrate is
I
5K, and then
I infinitely suffer. I have infinitely suffered researching that and still do. So if you want, I can always help you on setting those things. And yeah, I think that if you can handle a 5000 kbps, you should be golden for FTL. So I'll help you do that if it'll help you
that would
increase
be
the
awesome
quality of your
because
stream.
you
Yeah.
helped me with the podcast, you helped me with the webcam.
Yeah, no. I'll be glad to. Just any time together, and I'll help you. I'll tell you what I've learned on what to set up with OBS and the cameras and lighting and whatnot, for sure.
So it's measuring at the moment. So it's 43 down
Uh huh.
and 26 up.
Oh, you're golden for FTL. You're more than set up. Actually, the funny thing about FTL is if you increase it too much, it actually starts becoming unstable. So the other thing that you need to have is a stable connection because of how fast it needs to process it. So the one thing I do have is that my connection is fiber.
Mm.
So if you have like regular connection, at least here in this country, FTL is not gonna cut it because you need it to be really stable.
I have just
And
like a wire plugged in to the box.
right, but is it fiber optics? It
No,
should be
no, no.
pretty standard.
It's just a regular one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Either way, I think that with some setup, like suffer from a lot of ping, or is it usually really really stable?
It's pretty stable. Yeah.
If it's rather stable, you should be golden for it. Really, no problem.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's cool.
Hmm.
But so then we start talking about the internet. We were talking about
Yeah. Yeah.
why didn't you try Twitch?
Well, we did try when we were multi-streaming, but I was when this whole change from a company to just working on myself for MooGaming, I was looking at these two platforms. YouTube, like you said, is still a little wonky on certain things, so just out. And I had a lot of hard time deciding whether I would try Mixer and Twitch.
Yeah.
And on one side, Twitch is, I mean, it is a testament to the creation of streaming, even though I disagree how they're handling it. You can never take away what they have created. And I was just looking at the features and FTL, the interactivity, the stickers. It was just like better created as my perspective from the programming side, and as
Yeah.
a spectator, regular, non-technical one. Mixer was still king, and the quality is overall better. But I think looking at those, I was still like, well, yeah, I got these amazing things in Mixer, but Twitch is huge.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously big. But I don't really want to be controversial any of these topics, but I fundamentally disagree with a lot of stances that they are taking and the reasoning behind how they treat different creators. And I was like, is that really the platform that I want to grow in?
Yeah. It's
And
also really
for,
saturated. So many people.
and
I
that's
mean,
another thing. Like you need to understand, or I need to understand, fresh out of the box new creator, and it's easier to stand out on a channel that's still getting defined.
yeah.
And everyone in Twitch talks about how impossible it is to grow on Twitch and how difficult, because everyone is trying the same thing. So that was other thing that I kind of came to realize while researching my decision, that not only did I fundamentally disagreed with how they were handling a lot of the things and the stances that they were taking, I also saw a better opportunity on trying to grow on a new platform, relatively new.
Yeah, it just feels kind of cool, because if it works out, then you are one of the first in.
Right.
And then you
Right.
grow together with the platform, and at the end, you're just winning.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's cool. Because yeah, and when you think about it, they have like Microsoft, like, come on, bro. It's so big. Windows, they
Yeah.
can integrate it somehow and just they
Yep,
can
yep.
send out like to every Windows user that you're streaming
Overall,
or something
in
like
the
that.
technical sense, Mixer is pretty much king, and then Twitch, on the community sense, is the one who wins there.
Yeah,
But
just
it seems
Mixer
that
needs
a
some
lot of
memes. Mixer needs some memes, some
Mixer needs some memes.
maybe a
Yeah,
little bit of live stream fails,
yeah. They
a little bit of
and
memes.
I do think that their recent acquisitions were, and that is a step in the right direction. But yeah, now they need to relate to the gaming audience. They need to talk our language a little bit more and enjoy
Yeah.
things the way that we do. Memes would be a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Just have a situation that people will constantly remember, tweet out.
Yeah, exactly. Some kind of lore, you know.
Well, I
hope.
do have to say, they did an amazing job with one thing. The Twitch emote Kappa, right?
Yeah.
The first time I saw the mappa emote, I laughed so hard, and I was like, they didn't even need to try. They just grabbed the kappa. They grabbed. I don't know who the guy is, but I'm gonna assume he's an executive at Mixer or one of the dudes at
Yeah.
Mixer, and they just changed it to Mixer Kappa and Mappa, and we were on stream when we found that emote, and everyone on chat was just laughing their shit off. So they grabbed the Twitch lore and they twisted it to their advantage with a simple emote. So it's those things, those unpredictable things that can make the platform grow all of a sudden.
Yeah, but still, it's like no, that's funny. That's like a really, how do you say it, witty, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but
it's
but at the
witty,
same time,
definitely.
it's like, you know, what was the origin? Oh, it was the Twitch,
The
you
origin
know.
is Twitch, correct.
Yeah, so
So
it's
yeah,
kind of
they
still
need
brings
to
it back to that, you know. They need something,
correct.
something
Yeah,
of
they
their
need
own.
something of their own.
Yeah, and yeah. Also, for me personally, the Shroud and Ninja acquisitions didn't really do much, you know. I wasn't watching them before. I'm more of do you know offline TV?
No, I don't.
Oh, there's like a collective of streamers on Twitch, more variety IRL, I guess, streamers. Yeah, that's something that I watch.
I
To
think
me,
that.
it seems like they're concentrating on the FPS and trying to
Mhm.
get a lot of FPS fans and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that when they acquired Shroud, I don't understand their moves precisely, but I do think that there's some value to having because even I was like, oh, cool, Shroud is coming, but I do definitely understand where Ninja is coming from. So you see, a lot of us who dig deep into these topics have no problem into finding Mixer, and we understand and we know that it exists even from before. But you know what was the result of Ninja moving towards Mixer? The biggest question that you need in order to grow anything in the internet. What in the hell is Mixer? That was the question that sparked everybody. And even
Yeah,
though they even put it into a negative measure, like what crappy thing that nobody knows of, those people who had already an audience had thousands of people know the name before they didn't. And it's amazing to see how many people didn't know Mixer before that. Even if they don't choose to move towards this platform, the question was created. And that's exactly what they wanted to do
yeah,
with that. And they achieved it in the perfect way. They got themselves in the map. Now they need to work on engagement, they need to work on growing, they need to work against the biggest streaming platform ever created.
yeah,
But you can't do that if people don't even ask that question. So that is the most important question, and they achieved it just by paying Ninja to come over to Mixer.
yeah. It's interesting who's gonna be next. You know, they already got three guys, so they got Ninja, Shroud, and Gothalion,
Gothalion, yeah,
something like that.
Gothalion, yeah.
At
His
the
name
beginning, I
is
thought it was
unpronounceable.
Goliath, but it's not Goliath.
Goliathon.
Gothalion, something like that. And he's more of a
Something like that.
variety streamer,
Yeah.
very much involved with the community. But who's next? You know?
And if you think about it, that's an interesting, not a meme, but it's sort of their thing. If you are asking who's next, who's gonna be going next on Mixer, you could see that question all over social media. There's this awesome guy called Lance with two L's. He's a funny
Okay.
guy who does the little skits.
Yeah.
And he did a skit about streamers not even being able to breathe because their viewership were all like, oh, "You're going to Mixer," and it was
Yeah.
funny. But the thing was that a lot of other things were being created in that set. So Mixer can have a little bit of an origin story. The who is next?
Yeah.
Who are they gonna acquire next? Because people are still talking about it today. So it's an interesting move. It's rather, but I think it's
Yeah.
the right
Because
amount.
there was
Social.
this YouTube play
Mhm.
acquired Courage, JD, DJ, JD, another like
Don't.
Fortnite streamer from 100 Thieves. He was streaming on
Mhm.
Twitch, pretty big, and the YouTube play got him.
Uh-huh.
So
I
yeah,
don't think I know the name, but yeah.
is it gonna be another shooter guy, or maybe someone from the IRL, something like that? It's interesting. And then again, they're gonna wait, everything will calm down, and then they're gonna buy another guy, and again the buzz gets up, and then when it
Well,
dies down, they're gonna buy another one.
everybody knows that if they really want to grow, they just gotta acquire PewDiePie, and then all the 9-year-old army is
Yeah.
gonna move over.
I mean,
Was
PewDiePie
it?
is with D Live. What do you think
Yeah.
about that? Did you look
I heard
at D Live
I heard a lot of things that were sketchy about what they were doing and how.
with all the
So
cryptocurrency and stuff like that,
yeah,
right?
the cryptocurrency that was pretty much like we don't handle the cryptocurrency, but it was they really do, because supposedly what they tried to solve was that they were a company that had live streaming and a company that handled the cryptocurrency, and they were not the same, but
Mm,
they are subsidiaries of the same company, so
okay.
they are the same. And doing that kind of thing already raised some concerns into why would you hide that fact, why would you try to mask as if you wanted to say that you had no control over it, where
Yeah.
technically you do. So that another set of things, it was a little bit too sketchy. I don't want to be critical of what they're doing or call it a scam or anything or not, but it is sketchy enough that I said I would only go if I had some kind of business deal that would ensure some safety for me or some security or some
Mm,
security and income. But since
yeah.
I'm completely new, it's not a risk that I take.
Yeah. I just hope it will be okay, because man, PewDiePie has been through so much shit. I don't think he
Yeah,
needs another controversy
yeah,
like that when he's like advertising like a scam site or something.
yeah. No, definitely
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I may not be a 9 time passed by. It's funny because whenever I saw the "It's PewDiePie," I saw his videos and I kind of hated just looking at that, and I never saw his. But then when Detroit Become Human came out, I
Yeah.
watched his entire gameplay and I had such a good time. And I was like, you know what? He's a funny guy, so I watch him from time to time.
Yeah.
Does that make you a metaphorical 9-year-old though?
I watch his meme reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
He's just naturally funny. He
Yeah.
doesn't try hard. He just does it naturally, and I think that's what his appeal is. He uh he doesn't have to be exaggerated because he is true. He shows himself as what he is. And he's
Yeah. He's genuine.
entertaining, funny,
Genuine.
yeah,
Yeah. That's
genuine, yeah.
that's something that you don't really see.
No,
Everyone is like advertiser friendly and stuff like that.
or trying too hard to be goofy and that magnetic
Yes. Yes.
personality.
It's
And you
like
kind of can call that, like you feel it, like there's just something that I don't like about this
and they
guy.
call it comedy,
Yeah.
or humor. And they just like, it's like,
Yeah,
the
no.
fuck, man. Yeah. So at 25, you did this media company. You made were you like all your life, like entrepre- entrepreneurial?
Entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
It was an attempt to try to create something on my, and it's funny. I do think that I will be pursuing more of these things because I still think that I'm quite young and I still have a lot to do and a lot of life to live.
Do you watch
But
Gary Vaynerchuk? Do you
who?
know Gary Vaynerchuk?
No, I don't think I do.
He's like he's also like he's running like a media company. He's also a motivational speaker.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he's always
Nice.
talking like how there's still time. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Like
I, I
I
yeah, I also felt like maybe I'm too old for this, but I mean it's
no,
okay.
I think that even though I'm young, I do think that I don't want my livelihood to depend on someone else when I am no longer as efficient and as energetic as I am
Yeah.
in these years to come, up until 40, 50, maybe 55. So I do want to, I'm not like just going to quit on that. I want something on my own so that I can just not worry about the livelihood part and then just worry about how to enjoy my life on my later years.
Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, it would be nice to be self-sufficient, where you don't really have to worry if you're gonna get fired or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah. So maybe let's talk a little bit about gaming, a little bit more about gaming. Is there a game? Is there a game that you would like to come back with, like an expansion or a sequel?
Ooh, that's hard. Did you ever play a game called Eternal Darkness? It's
No, but
kind
I
of
feel
the
like I have heard of it. It's
it's
like
in
it's
GameCube.
a horror game.
Yeah, Eternal Darkness Sanity Requiem is it was created by Silicon Knights, and unfortunately, even though they were working on something to go after that, they got into a huge legal argument with
Okay,
Epic
that's like
Games.
2002 release date.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
okay.
and they got on a huge legal battle with Epic Games. I think Epic was on the wrong side of things, but they unfortunately won, and it was a pretty crappy move from them because it wasn't just like winning the thing; they kind of bankrupt the company on purpose by just going and going and going through those processes. And
Yeah.
when they want something, they would keep just going at it, and they completely decimated the company. And of course, those projects were scrapped, and we lost all those things. But Sanity's Requiem is by far one of the best games that I have ever played in my life.
Oh.
I would love to see something, a sequel to that.
Yeah. I haven't played that. So the last part came out in 2002.
Yep. No,
Damn.
that was the only. That's a one part game.
Yeah. It has been
2002, and
70.
it had already a bunch of concepts like replayability,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was really
17
amazing. That
years.
game
I mean,
is awesome.
I
And
personally,
then, mhm.
I really loved, Fable.
Did you ever get into the closed beta of Fable Legend? That lion decided down of no.
I just played Fable on the Xbox, but I
Oh,
played until I think the first one, and that's it.
I, I I don't think that precisely it had to, but yeah, it was called Fable Legends or something like that,
It
and it
wasn't
was being
supposed to be like
developed.
online or something like that.
It was online. You would get into this kind of setups, into this kind of level that you had to complete, and you could complete up with up to four people. And the concept was different. Something quite original, if you ask me. It was really interesting. It was just coming out of closed beta. I got it, and you would play it, and you would have your name plastered all over the screen, so that if you broke NDA, they could quickly grab you. It was
Okay.
being developed by Lionheart, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, it's like, oh, well, you know what? We're just. It was already out. The thing was finished. That closed beta, that thing was finished, and it was like, oh, you know what? We're just cancel. Screw you all, and it was really it was really crappy because I was actually looking forward to that.
But did you play any of the Fable 1 or 2?
I don't know. I didn't play Fable. I've heard so many things about it that I think that I need to try. But question: is it only available on Xbox?
Maybe they made it cross-platform now. I'm not sure. I think I saw
Because
something on Steam. I just
if it
remember
if it
really enjoying that game.
yeah, if it is, that's probably why. Because I never actually Xbox. We had most of the time we had Nintendos. We did have a PlayStation One, the
Yeah.
old brick one. And we had a GameCube, the 64, and Wii.
Oh,
So we
I had
did
only
go on consoles.
a Sega when I
Mm.
played Teenage Ninja Turtles.
No
Uh,
way.
I
That's
played.
cool.
There was a Michael Jackson game when he was walking into bar and like throwing his hat at enemies
Oh
and doing like
no.
crutch movements.
Is it the one with this pixelated sprite with
I
the
mean,
white outfit that everyone uses for memes and for internet stuff?
it was. I was like, man, it was like, fuck, 7, 9, 18 years ago, something like that. It was like Sega on like old when there's the like fat TVs, you know.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And
Oh
yeah,
my
it was
god.
pixelated, and he was throwing his hat, and yeah, that's about all I did
Ridiculous.
remember.
Oh
Are you
man.
excited for the new? I guess you're. At the moment, you're playing vanilla,
I'm playing classic, yes.
and are you excited for the Shadowlands?
I have not been expansion since Cataclysm,
Oh, since
unfortunately.
Cataclysm. For me, it was
Yeah, like
since Wrath of the Lich King. That was the
it's
last one
no,
that I really liked.
that's the thing. Like Cataclysm came out, and the really looking at the world being changed. And the first impression was everyone was really excited. Of course,
True.
they
It's
completely
epic.
ruined it.
Everything's
But
changing, and
yeah, when the expansion announcement came out, I was pretty hyped, and I was like, "Well, this is cool," because I was kind of not not enjoying Wrath of the Lich King. It was good, but I wasn't enjoying it as much. Say, but it was really cool going back into the old world and being able to fly on it, kind of going back to the roots, and it was amazing. And
oh,
again,
it's like Ninja going back to the roots, right? That's why he came to Mixer.
oh, you did not just paraphrase. The,
Because
that's great.
the trailer was. I wish she had worn that helmet, not break it. You know, if she like puts it
uh,
on,
you know,
fuck
I'm
man.
gonna give them something. When she tore it up, I was like, it was pretty cool for me because it was like, oh no, she's just gonna put it on. And when she starts making it, it's like, oh, she's not gonna put it on, and I was interested into what was gonna happen.
Yeah,
Uh, Cinematics is something that they always do better. It's the one
that's
thing
true.
that it's amazing. Even though I don't care for the games,
The cinematics
when
are
it's a
always.
Blizzard cinematic, it's
Yeah,
something that I have to watch because they are just absolutely beautiful.
the Diablo one. It looked so
Oh
real.
god!
It looked so
Oh my
real.
god! Yes,
The
yeah, the
humans,
Diablo.
the faces. I
Is
was like, wait, is
from
this like
from is
real
this real
people?
life?
And yeah, but okay, I'm kinda normie. Who was that blood lady that came out of that thingy? You know, at the
The
end of
demon?
Diablo. Yeah.
That's Lilith. So it's fairly
Ooh.
recent to the lore. So Lilith, you know how the creation of Sanctuary is presented in Diablo.
I watched one guy on YouTube. He had like a
Eh,
series of lore. Is she's like she's the daughter of one of the three great evils,
yeah.
right?
So she's one of the daughter of three prime evil, and
She made
and
love.
and the
Yeah.
prime angels themselves are like from the beginning of time there were these humongous creatures that fought between for balance, good and evil, and they got shattered in the battle, and that's what created the primevals and the angels, and then the battle has continued over eternity until Lilith, the daughter of Mephisto, if I'm not mistaken, and
He was
Inarius, one
the.
of
I
the
guess
angels.
he was the oldest of the three prime evils.
I don't know, but I'm gonna assume so.
Okay.
And this angel and this demoness, they were tired of fighting, so they stole this legendary artifact called the World Stone. They created a world and concealed it from this battle, and then they coupled together and they started having kids, and that's what created the Nephilim. So
Yeah.
technically, Lilith is the mother of humanity
But
in that lore.
yeah, but she wanted to protect all the all her children. That's why she was banished away
No,
by her boyfriend, no? Or something like
no.
that.
She wanted when the Nephilim started appearing, they realized that they were more powerful than any demon
Or
or
angel.
angel.
Yeah.
And Lilith is still a demon. She was tired of the conflict, but she's still a demon. So she wanted to use the Nephilim to create an army
Mm.
to end the conflict. And Inarius disagreed with that, and that's why I think she was banished.
Yeah. But still, I mean, her boyfriend wanted to kill everyone. Those her children. At least he was thinking about it or something like that. But
Inarius?
the Lilith wanted to protect them, I guess, to make the army. So she slaughtered all the demons and angels who were left in the sanctuary.
Huh. I might have not known of that part. I know that unveiled
Yeah.
sanctuary and the demons and angels realized this. The council of the angels voted on whether to get rid of humanity or not, but the council of angel, not Inarius.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, mouth no, it was Tyrell's vote that saved humanity at the end. But I didn't know that Inarius wanted to destroy them. What I originally knew is that they just didn't want to create an army out of it, and that conflict kind of just
Mm.
screwed everything up. And I do know that the angels at some point considered getting rid of the humans and destroying them, but I didn't know that I wouldn't be able to, that Inarius also wanted to get rid of them.
Yeah. So I guess she's back. She's back. In the trailer, she
I
comes
guess
back.
she's
Yeah.
she's back, but it just begs the question: she's back, but where are the Nephilims that just killed death itself in Reaper of Souls? I really want that question answered, and I do hope that they integrate it well and they just not say like, let's not tell them so that they don't remember that they're supposedly an all-powerful being. So
Yeah.
this demoness would be completely irrelevant because she's still a demon, and these guys are Nephilims.
Yeah. And I also saw that it will be open world
Yeah, yeah, it's
and
an interesting take.
the map is fucking huge.
Yeah.
At
Oh, I
least
love
so.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's interesting that
RPGs.
they're bringing in some on MMO stuff, you know? It's open world.
It's interesting because on one side it might be somewhat controversial because fans of Diablo are not looking for an MMO. The true experience of an ARPG is not really an MMO. However, it is something that I'm really interested in seeing. A good combination of an ARPG and an MMO might be a really good way to refresh both genres into something more innovative or modern. So I'm still a little bit skeptical, being as it is Activision Blizzard, but I want to be positive about what it's to come with Diablo 4. It is the one announcement in BlizzCon that generally caught my eye, and I really would want this to go in a positive way because it could promise to be an amazing game, to be honest.
Yeah. And also in World of Warcraft, it looks that they are going more back to the roots because they are squishing the levels.
Yeah,
They are going back to, so you basically you can choose in which expansion you level to 50 as far as I
yeah,
understand, and then after that from 50 to 60 you level in Shadowlands.
correct.
Also some of the old talents are coming back, so I guess the talent trees will look more like the in vanilla up
I
until
really
Lich
hope
King.
so. And they also want to bring a lot of spells that they have removed back
Yeah.
that were just like class. What was it called? Class
Defining.
identity.
I don't. Yeah.
Class
Yeah.
identity. And the reason why I can't get hyped by that is that I genuinely think it's a step in the right direction. I do, however, think that the systems that um, bored me to death and drew me away from World of Warcraft
Yeah.
are still in there, unfortunately. So that's why I'm kind of torn in the middle, where I recognize that you may be doing something that's good and that's generally a step in the right direction, but the systems that make me not want to play the game are still there. So at that point, I already know how to feel about it. I'm not expecting anything from it,
Yeah.
and I generally won't be playing. I will be observing really carefully, but I have almost decided my mind on not playing it.
So for me, what drew me away, I guess, was the looking for group
Yeah,
and
and looking for
transmogs.
rain. You
Yeah.
know, I actually hate transmogs. I think that cosmetics and the way that you look is always something interesting.
Yes,
But in an
especially
MMO,
if you have like epic gear that no one else can
yeah,
really get,
and
and you want to
and
show
that's
it off,
exactly,
you know?
my problem in RPG. In RPGs, the whole thing is about an avatar representing your adventure as a hero, and those things actually do affect, and the fact that you can freely change them devalues a lot of things. It devalues the effort that you put on stuff, because I do remember that being that guy who had gear that everyone could see and that
Yeah.
cannot be changed and that really stood out on vanilla was a symbol of the inherent value that the game has.
Yeah.
Transmogs exists because the game can no longer create inherent value on the things that you do. World of Warcraft Vanilla, the power of it is the social aspect, which they have removed with all these tools with LFG, LFR, and the inherent value of doing things. They need to create these number grinds because they don't know how to create value on the effort that you put in, unlike how they did on Classic. They have forgotten how to do that formula. They don't know how to do it. So they gotta manufacture this value. They gotta manufacture the sense that you are doing something by putting a number that increases something.
Hmm. Yeah. I've that's a hot take, I guess.
Hot takes. If I had a mic, I would drop it, but this one is stuck in the headset.
Drop the whole headset.
Drop the headset.
Headset drop. Yeah. I mean, it's just cool if you get like shoulders, especially shoulders, stuff like that, and you just
Shoulders,
sit in the
hands, and
main
weapons.
city at the bank and just make everyone jealous.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And I just love, like looking for tank, 500 gear score, or I was playing a druid healer, or like
Oh,
druid healer, 600 gear score. I don't know, 9 from 10 bosses looking for a group, and then you sit there,
yeah,
and then someone writes you, and stuff like that.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
networking, socializing, I guess.
Yep,
Yeah, that's cool.
absolutely.
Yeah, I guess that's
Eh,
what you're doing in Manila right now.
Uh, yeah. Minus the gear score.
Are you 60?
Which,
Or
yeah,
have you done
yeah.
like
I actually,
molten core on Ixia?
yeah, we cleared up to Gar with sister guild. Like, there were these people that wanted to. Their schedules weren't good, and I said like I love the conversation that I had with the GM, and we wanted to merge my MooGaming guild
Yeah.
into them, but it wasn't going to be possible for schedule. But I
Or
said
are
I
you a
am always
GM?
willing to help you out. About to stop being and co-GMing with an ATS guild over
So you're
that's called
merging,
Lost
right?
Disciple. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I already committed to this other guild that's still a little bit behind. So with the other guild, I said, listen, dude, this other guild that I'm with barely starting, we may not do runs. So these people that I already talked to from the guild before the merge are always willing to help you out. So they were really cool about it. They appreciated it, and we get invited to the runs all the time. So this
Oh,
weekend we're gonna actually go to the runs because they did fix the schedules a little bit, and I would have merged by then
yeah.
with them. But unfortunately, I had already given my word to the other guild, so I had to explain that, and he was like, "No, that's understandable, and I'm happy that you are still able to help us." So it's cool because we're merging with a guild, but we're keeping relations with another guild, which is really powerful.
What's your main class?
Warrior, baby, the only one. And actually,
Tanking?
I'm not a
Ta-
tank. I've
no?
tanked for all the expansions, so I refuse to freaking tank for this classic. I went Fury, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. And even then, all my leveling experience in order to get the dungeons has been tanking.
Yeah.
Even though I was Fury, I'm a really good tank. So since it was so hard to get a tank, I would just say, "Listen, I'm just gonna tank," and it was perfect. But so I was like struggling because I just want the DPS, man. I just want
Uh,
to enjoy my Fury Warrior. And now that we're getting into the high end and there's already tanks, and I'm being able to go to Upper Blackrock Spire and Stratham and
yeah.
Swallow and Molten Core as a DPS, I'm just having a blast. I absolutely love the Fury Warrior.
But you're playing on the NA servers or?
Yeah, an A server, a TIsh.
Ah,
They didn't release Latin servers up until later, and I'm transfer. I mean, Latin servers.
yeah.
I do remember them being dead, and
Are there any big
I
streamers on your server? Like I think Asmongold was on
Faralina. All of the
Ferlin.
big streamers went to Faralina. They collectively decided on that server.
Uh, you,
So I don't think there's a big streamer on the ITS server.
you can play on, so you can be the only one,
Yeah.
or you can
Now I
go
just need to get big.
or you can go to Asmongold's server,
Yeah.
snipe him, and then
Snipe
get
him and then become
get
famous.
famous. Yeah, on the mixer.
create a character on Osmond Gold server. Gank him.
Make
Question mark. Profit.
kek. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I downloaded. I played until level 10, and then I canceled my subscription, and went to
Not your
play
thing.
League of Legends again. Yeah,
We should play League of Legends sometime.
have you played?
Yeah, I played it a lot, and I didn't rank as much, but I did use Morgana for a long time. I easy mode Brand because it's so freaking easy.
Yeah, Brand.
And
I love.
I love playing Shaco, even though people hate it because it's not a competitive or viable champion. But I just love trolling the team because whenever you get the kills, they start getting so mad. When you
Yeah.
become really good at stealthing with Shaco, it's really fun. Of course, if you really wanted to bring that to a competitive level, you have to be way better than I am. But I still have a lot of fun, so I just love
Yeah,
spamming
I wouldn't even worry
jungle.
about that. I just play. I play
Normal?
normal drafts. Yeah, I just
Oh,
take
yeah,
top
we should
take
play
top,
those.
and then I play Soraka top or something like that. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, we should definitely play sometime then.
yeah.
It's been a
You
while
know what
since I don't play League of Legends.
the thing that I don't like when you want to play with your friends, but they're on another server.
Uh-huh.
You can't really play unless you have like level 5 or something like that. You know.
Yeah.
And
Which
and
reminds me, I
and
don't remember if my account is currently in Latin America. I do think that one American North.
I mean, of course you can transfer, but it costs like
Yeah.
RP.
Like, yeah.
And otherwise you have to like fight against bots, and it's not like one match.
So
You have to
annoying.
do like
Yeah.
multiple. You can play TFT together with friends on first level.
Never
Have you
actually
tried?
tried it. No, it does look interesting. I've never tried like a year or two since I played League of Legends. I still follow the LCS from time to time, but I don't really much.
Yeah. I TFT is much easier. I mean it's different,
Mhm.
but it's easier for older people like us. You don't
For
you d- you
boomers.
you don't need you don't need so much reflexive skills Just more
Right.
your brain, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That
yeah. But
sounds
if
cool.
you check out where is your account, they can figure something out. Uh, or actually, I can in World of Warcraft you can. Yeah, but if you want to,
What?
you can in World of Warcraft you can just change servers, and then
Yeah, I can change server and create.
you know I can. Yeah, it's cool. We figure something out. Okay, what else we have here? What was the first game you ever played?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Did you ever knew a game that's called Hellbender or Full Throttle? Those two games.
No, it's
It
like
came in a bundle for the first computer my dad ever, and that he bought some games with. It's a Hellbender was this amazing spaceship battle game. Not a lot of people know it, and you can see it. It's old as hell. It was around the first time, and then there's this story-driven game about a biker dude, motorcycles, a biker dude
yeah,
that just gets into a huge story after he gets like his bike just gets destroyed, and then in the middle, like you get into a fight with some dudes in the street, and they kind of like fuck his bike, and then he just crashes, and then he wakes up in a place, and that just evolves into a really amazing story. And it seems like it's like the origins of the point and click adventure. Really interesting, really freaking interesting, and it has a really unique art style to it. It's called Full Throttle.
mm.
So those were the two first games that were bought along with the first personal computer my dad bought, and yeah, those are the ones that I played. I must have been 3 4 years old.
Oh
So
damn.
we're talking about 24-year-old games, dude.
Yeah. For me it was RuneScape.
Yeah, RuneScape, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Was
RuneScape. Yeah.
I did not understand what to do, but it was
Huh?
damn. RuneScape isn't. It's actually an incredibly creative game, and being able to load it from a browser. Damn, dude. Like those dudes, it's often undervalued. I always criticize it a lot, but actually, what they did with that game is amazing.
And they also, it like it had some expansions on something like that, and then they
Yeah,
released RuneScape Old School,
yeah,
or like
yeah, yeah.
RuneScape Classic. It's the same cycle as with World of Warcraft. That's quite
Right,
funny
right.
because for me it's always like RuneScape. Then I played some game where you hit people off of motorcycles. There's two bikes riding, and then you hit them and try to push them off,
Oh, okay.
or
Road
something like that, maybe. Yeah.
I think I've seen it, yeah.
And then
Like you
my
started with a really crappy motorcycle, and then you could buy better motorcycles. And the first motorcycle was like with the rat or something, the rat cycle or something like that. Wasn't it that one?
could be. I just remember they all looked the same, just different colors.
Oh,
I just
oh,
hit
okay.
them. And then my uncle bought me for birthday World of Warcraft. Yeah.
Cool,
And
cool.
then I started shortly before Burning Crusade came out.
Huh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. That was fun, I guess. And then my mom, maybe not fun for my mom because she had to pay for the subscriptions
Yeah,
for a few years.
yeah.
Yeah. So so much money. I was calculating like it could be like 500 euros, including all the subscriptions or
Yeah,
something like that.
$15 a month. A lot of money,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. It all sums up
Expensive
at the end. Yeah, yeah. How did you come up with your streamer name?
Hmm. That was actually from a really GameCube game called Bat and Kaitos. There was this NPC called King Ladehkan It
Okay.
was arranged a little bit different, and I don't know why. At some point, I stopped playing that game, and I went into doing some things, and then there was this browser game where you just like click and get resources and then attack, but it was all like text.
Yeah.
This browser game called Kings of Chaos that a friend of mine showed me, and I had to create a user. So I just that name rang a bell. It was really cool. It wasn't used widely because the game isn't as known. And over the years, I never really found any other Ladehkan, so I just kind of I stuck with it.
Mm.
So yeah, in Baden Kaidos, I must have played around 12 years old, 13 years old. So I've been Ladehkan on the internet ever since then.
Ladehkan. My first username that I widely used on other game was from World of Warcraft, and
Oh, really?
it was Warlockman. And
Warlock Man.
can you guess why?
Because you were a priest?
Yeah, right. Because I was a warlock.
And you created a warlock and you.
Yeah. Original content, man.
To be honest, that is quite original. How many warlocks have you? I haven't seen
Yeah,
any.
no one. But it was like so when it came to like finding a name for the stream, I was like, man, do I really want to call myself Warlock Man? And then I was like, okay, maybe I should think about this because I see some people choose like I don't know, like bed 69 or something like that, or like or some like totally random username.
You gotta see find skits from Lands with Two L's about specifically that streamer names. And he's like a streamer coach. He does the skit, and then he goes through a guide that just keeps giving him a long ass name, and he's like, "What? Is that your username? Is that what you tell your people? Like, that's not a
Your
username.
people.
That's a two verification code."
That's how you call your viewers, your people. My people.
People want to come in and not want to spell out their social security number every time they want to call.
Yeah.
And then the guy just leaves really angry, and it's like, oh, these people. And he goes, okay, so next on the things that I gotta coach, we need to see Dragon Pussy wants to know why he can't get a brand deal. It's like, oh, fuck, this is gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That guy's amazing. I'll pass you on Twitter because
Yes, it sounds
you
fucking
need to
funny.
see the sketches, dude. They're amazing.
Yeah, because sometimes the usernames are really funny. So I was also now I kind of chose like Shadow the Friend, but at the same time, some people call me Shadow the Fiend. Fiend.
The Fiend. To be honest, I saw that and then I had to reload.
Yeah. So I was thinking, okay, my real name is Peter, but then again, there's so many Peters out there. Like, what's your real name?
My name is Victor.
Victor. Oh,
Yes.
are your family? They have any roots in Russia or something like that?
No, but it's pretty cool because somehow.
Or is it? I'm not sure.
Really
Maybe.
down along the lines we have Spanish descent, but for 4 generations, I've had the same name and the same last name as. So I'm Victor Herrera,
Mm-hmm.
and my great grandpa, my father, and me are called the same. So it's 4 generations that are called like that. And we do have Spanish descent really down the line, but no Russian descent. So I'm not sure why it's Victor, but it's not usual in here, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you're like Victor the Fourth, or something.
Victor the Fourth. Yes, I'm Victor the Fourth.
Oh, that's
Victor the Fourth, commander of MooGaming.
Actually,
proud warrior of the Horde.
Talking about branding, so on YouTube you have this MooGaming channel, right?
Correct.
But if you search MooGaming, there's another different channel that pops up.
Unfortunately,
Have
yes.
you thought about
asking
changing something, or what's your plan, or just or just win them?
I actually, that's something that I think about a lot. I want to drop the MooGaming and change it to Ladehkan because I think it's more unique.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. That's what that back to what I was telling you. I feel that the name project is MooGaming, and that's something that I like to keep. But on the other side, it feels like that's just not something that should go along. Like I should concentrate
Don't you
on
feel?
the
Yeah,
brand
but
as myself. So I should just concentrate on my name and probably
don't you
change it.
feel? Yeah, don't you feel like it was like MooGaming? It was more like a chapter in your life. That's maybe
It could be, but I
you
don't
have
think
to.
it's quite over. I had
Ah,
to
okay.
downscale it. I don't think that it is ready to just die. I'm product die. Most likely, more because of the fact that I feel like I would just be giving up because things got hard, and that's the point. The point of
Mm.
struggling with this and making it work is not to just go and do it all in a breeze, but it is supposed to be difficult and it is supposed to be challenging.
Mhm.
So I don't think I am ready to just let that go and try to keep it going as a project because even though it failed in a economic way, it's still 2 years. Business or an endeavor, a project. I don't think that you're supposed to count it as not something that should be kept going after 5 years.
Mhm. Especially yeah, if you have some viewers that are left over from that project that are watching you
Exactly.
and
Yes.
stuff like that.
And I can always transition, do another channel, and I can always present myself as Ladehkan. People know me like that, but they know more gaming the channel.
Because I was thinking maybe your stream can be Ladehkan and you can have like two YouTube channels or something like that. One for your
Yeah,
personal, one for the company, and the
that is
same on
one.
the streaming. You can have like this MooGaming team or something like
Mhm.
that.
Yep, yep. That's one
Yeah,
thing that I've considered, but I really see how things move in ship and exposure to make the right call on that.
yeah. So you said at the beginning of the podcast, you said that you're going to have like a new job, right? Like as a programmer. You or
No,
you're working right now?
no. I've been working for 11
Oh, okay.
years,
I thought you said
but
you will start a new project or something like that.
no, that I should probably focus on using that to stand out from other
Ah, okay.
streamers
Yeah,
and other content
that's true.
creators.
Yeah, that was the
That I
idea.
should do that. I really consider that because standing out is really difficult when there's 6 billion people. So yeah, so when you should use every tool at your disposal.
But thankfully they are all not streaming.
And even then, it's difficult,
Sometimes it feels like everyone on the mixer who is a viewer is actually a streamer as well.
right?
Yeah, yeah. They're just
Yeah.
lurking, gathering information, strategy.
Yeah.
Do you have like Instagram? You have Instagram, right? Is it
No,
also?
I had
No.
an old Instagram, but I saw no. I kind of research all these content creators that I follow, and I
Yeah.
realized that they really just feed their YouTube, their streaming platform, and their Twitter. Facebook is just there to be there, and
Yeah.
Instagram is just there to be there. And sometimes you got PewDiePie, which is like a big personality that likes to show himself. So yeah, Instagram does make sense.
Hmm.
But most of these people have an Instagram just so that their name is not stolen. Sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, and I thought, like, yeah, I don't think this is the platform to grow as a streamer, to be honest.
Hmm.
I think Twitter makes more sense.
Okay. Yeah, because I have Instagram, I have Twitter, YouTube, and I made TikTok.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I basically what I do, I just I redistribute the same content in different packages, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, on Instagram, I have like selfies with my guests, and that's what we are
Uh-huh.
also going to do at the end. We're gonna take a selfie, and then I
Okay.
on YouTube I have of course the whole VOD, and then I have the highlights,
Uh-huh.
and then on Instagram, the selfie. On Twitter, usually just announcements,
Uh-huh.
and then on TikTok I have like clips from the highlights, like short clips that are like funny or something like that.
Okay.
That's about
that's cool.
how I go about it. Not
Cool.
sure if it's the best way, but I'm just taking the content and
Actually,
distributing.
technically, even though is considered different content, so yeah, I do think that it is a good way of doing it. If you get the chance to vary content a little bit more so that people have a reason to go in between platforms, is better. But overall, that repackaging method that you're using still counts as different content, so I would say that it is a good place to start, yes.
Hmm. So you're using only Twitter, right? So
Twitter and YouTube, I need like make more videos, but it's been really difficult for time and to make server stream.
because I saw you had like one was 5 months ago, and then the last one was
Yeah,
a week ago. But
yeah,
but
the
you
old
have
video.
you have 4 videos, right? But you have
Uh,
269 subscribers. That's
yeah, that's
how.
because all the put them in private because they are Spanish, they are old streams and whatnot.
Okay,
And since I
okay,
wanna, but yeah, it's been going for some more time. Like there's
okay.
and the last one was because the one for the Connects event,
Yeah.
that was because didn't want to leave the channel completely empty. So technically, the new phase, the new videos and everything starts from a week ago. So I
Yeah.
just have like three videos
Okay.
and the
Talk,
intro.
talking about the intro and your like banners and stuff. Did you make
Mhm.
it yourself?
No, this was between me and the designer and edition team that I had in MooGaming.
Uh,
They were really like those guys are really good at what they do.
yeah, the both the podcast and your stream, all the banners and overlays look really nice.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they were amazing. It
compared
was
to mine.
really sad. It was really sad
I
for
have,
me to tell them that I could not keep going, but it was never because of what they did. Their work is
yeah,
amazing, and I only wish that I would have been able to keep them as a team.
yeah, because it looks really amazing.
Yeah,
It was like worth the money.
absolutely. Those guys are worth the money and even more.
Yeah. So you really did like so basically you were like a manager slash HR, like
Yeah, I was.
hiring everything.
No, I was. Yeah, I was pretty much the founder. I was the CEO. Need to find ways to try and make money with that
Yeah.
while handling the entire assets and delegating all the jobs and then meeting so that they would tell me. I had a really small structure of teams. Like we in the content team, we had the team lead, which the content lead, which would kind of handle the content creators group, and then on design we had the design lead and the junior designers, and then
Yeah.
we only had one marketing specialist. Technically, that counted as a department, but it was department one,
Yeah.
and so on, so on. Like the heads from each one of those teams or departments that I created would come to me, and then we would meet once each 15 days to see where things were at and what we needed to do and how these resources. So I would tell them this is the direction that it needs to be taken into, and this is what I need done from. And then they would go ahead and do it. So I kind of was learning how to delegate all that job and kind of maintaining this hierarchical structure with enough vision to make decisions, but with enough freedom for them to job rather than some crappy micromanaging that will never result in a good company.
Yeah. Did you go to any investors or stuff like that to try to get
I tried,
funding or?
I tried to, but it was really hard, especially in here, Costa
Yeah.
Rica.
Mm. Don't you don't you feel that maybe you had a too big of a team? Because it sounds like you had a lot of people. Don't you think now when you look back, what would you have done differently?
I think that the content team was an interesting but it was not something that I could handle with the money that I was earning in order to keep it going. But on the other side, I don't think that they were big enough. We had one community manager, one marketing specialist, one designer and one designer lead, and one editor and editing lead, and it was working perfectly. Um, we had a lot of things to do, and even though these people were there, we still didn't have the time. So I wouldn't say too big, but the problem was that it was too big for what I could afford.
Mm.
But if I had less, then things would not be done on time, and that would also present a problem.
Mm.
So this
Yeah.
is why the business model worked. It wasn't that it was correctly structured; it was that I wasn't able to afford it on my own. I did maintain it for 2 years,
Two
but that
years.
that
That's
was
actually quite
yes,
long. On even
yeah,
even even considering that you had them part time, still
yeah,
that's a long time.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, usually when you watch people usually talk about like 5, 10 year plans. So I guess 2 years was not long enough to get it
Mm,
running, get it
yeah,
rolling. I guess.
and that's where I saw it. It's like I need this up for 5 more years or 4 more years, and I don't think uh, I don't think I have the revenue for that. So this is not the direction that I should be taking it. Not because it's not the right time for.
Mm. Yeah. So you're not now you're trying downsize more with streaming,
Yeah, I
saving
kept a
money
designer
for
that
the.
is helping me rebrand myself. There's some cool imagery stuff coming. I have an
Oh.
illustrator that helps with the Patreon rewards that we give each month.
Oh, by the way, what are you
And
doing on your Patreon? What's the?
we have like several like Discord levels for interest, just for bragging rights. We have streaming credits, and we have really cool digital artwork that gets sent to you. Like the first level patrons, the ones that pay $1, just get the HD desktop, the 1080p desktop for your regular desktops.
Yeah.
But from there and on, 5 tier and up, they get this whole set that can be fit in any device. So they get the iPhone, the Android, the iPad, the Android tablet, the ultra wide version, the ultra wide 4K version, the 4K version, and all that. It's the same illustration, but it's all handled so that you can put it on any device. So that's where it's going. And for higher things, we have things like illustrate custom illustrations that you can ask for, and other things that I plan on putting in there.
Oh,
So that's what I'm doing in there.
so it's actually really worth subscribing to your Patreon.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So if
Of course
anyone
it
is
is. I
watching,
would
I'm
never
just
offer
gonna
something that is not worth.
link it a few times.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Spamming the chat.
And the illustrator, it's amazing. She is absolutely amazing. You should see the stuff that she does. And the way that we announced the patron was like bring out the image, and I realized that's not a good way to sell out how good they are. So we are trying to change that to show in an animated GIF the
Mm.
image so that you can preview it and see how good it actually is.
Hmm.
So we will be doing that in the future.
Sounds amazing. Maybe you can link the designer, the illustrator, the girl.
I think that she had just taken down her site, but she's
Ah.
actually worked. She works with me independent e-learning site where she's gonna start giving lessons. I don't know if it's gonna be in Spanish or in English, but
Ah.
since it's e-learning, I'm gonna assume that she's gonna try and do it in English to reach more people. When
Yeah.
she has the site ready and it's available, just remind me so that I can pass it to you so that you can see
Yeah. The
her stuff, because most
portfolio.
likely she will also have the portfolio, because she had a website, and for some reason all of a sudden it disappeared, and I talked to her and she was like, I'm trying to just like restructure myself and other things, so I took everything down and I want to start all over again.
Ah.
So I was like, okay,
Okay.
so I'm waiting for her to do that, because this is not the first time. I had another friend that I to, and I was like, why the fuck is this not loading? It's amazing. Where did it go? And I
You're
asked her, and
losing
then she told me
money.
that.
She's
Yeah, you're
losing
losing money.
money.
Come on. So as soon as she has all the new image, I'm assuming that she wants to give herself a new image and make a new portfolio. Typical artists, even though they do great things, when it gets too old and they get way better than they are, they start saying that that looks like crap, even though it looks amazing. So maybe that's where she's at. She just wants to like redefine and grab her new work and then redo her site and her image and whatnot. So right
Yeah.
now she's not accessible. Kind of sucked because I was like trying to show some people
Yeah.
all the illustrations went.
So, do you have any stream crushes?
I'm gonna need help on what that concept means. Is it actually a concept or just like specifically just like a streamer that I like how she looks, or a
Yeah.
streamer that I really
Yeah.
like how he performs?
Yeah, performs. Let's say it performing.
Performing giggity. I don't know.
For me personally, okay, you maybe don't know, maybe you know, like Pokimane,
I do know her, and yeah, she's absolutely
Lily Pichu.
stream. I don't know if I would consider any of those stream crushes, but I mean, from that to the fact that they are absolutely juicy, yes. It's like, it's a what's your streamer crush? My answer is yes.
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 Everything. um, so, what's your current setup? Do you have like two PC setup, one PC,
No,
two screens?
I have a one PC with two screens. On one side, I put the OBS, the chat, everything that I need to as a control panel for the stream, just to leave my other screen where I can full screen the games.
Yeah.
And I'm currently using a Logitech C922 and a Sennheiser Game One headset, which is really good. But this
By the
HyperX
way,
Cloud
not
feels
sponsored
amazing. Not sponsored.
at the moment, at least. I'm also running one PC, two screens. At the moment, at the beginning, I was a little scared because when you watch all the videos, everyone is running two PCs. But actually, it's okay. It's perfect. One PC.
Yeah, I think that it's because that sort of deal that when you go into a next step, it makes sense, but you don't need it to start with and to make quality stuff. Like you can even get big and not need that. Maybe after a certain point where you want to do this like super high production, like you do with Harris Heller kind of deal, you do want that. But other than that, don't think it's necessary.
There are people that use only their phone. I mean, you can start streaming at any time. It's all about it's all about the heart, the content, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for me personally, I go a lot on Twitch to watch Twitch streamers. Are you like? Because I have spoken with some guys, with some people that are like, they are like, not Twitch, only Mixer. Like
No,
they will not go.
I think that I don't care about what the platform. I care about the creator. If someone is good, I don't care where he goes.
Yeah.
The platforms to me are irrelevant. The creators are the ones that create life on the content creation thing, and I'll just go wherever they go because I want to see their content if I want to see it. Having said that, I am a terrible spectator because I get really anxious something, so I suck at watching things. So I don't actually do that much. I actually push myself.
You get anxious when you are the only viewer, or
no, not that. Like actually, like anxious for doing something. Like if I'm expecting a game of League of Legends, there's some point that I said like, no, I just want to go and play it myself. I'm never gonna play like these guys in the LCS, but I want to do it. I cannot like stand in one place because remember that I'm hyperactive. So spectating something is not really my strong. So usually in big gatherings, like when I go and have barbecues with my friends for the LCS, I am the one cooking, or I'm the one serving, or I'm eating, or I'm talking while I watch the matches. But I can never like just stand there. So watching someone is something that I push myself into in order to network, in order to
Yeah.
learn from them, and in order to understand how this world works.
Yeah.
Which is why it's kind of difficult. So overall, I just don't have like favorite content creators and whatnot, but I just overall try to watch a little bit of everything and try to enjoy as much as I can until I just need to go and do something myself to release energy, because I'm just like standing there and I'm like, I need to do something. I
Do
can't just be
something to
watching these
release the
guys.
energy.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Release the energy with your favorite streamer.
With
Okay.
my no, that's for later. That's off camera.
Yeah, I mean the
Uh,
networking stuff. Yeah, for the podcast, I definitely need to lurk around,
mhm,
go to some streamers, write in the chat, try to
mhm.
communicate and stuff like that. If I want to find a guest and stuff like that, so that's true.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I mean this is actually longer than the last podcast that I have,
Oh,
and we
really?
have talked
Oh, I
about so
broke the
much.
record. Yes. I am competitive as fuck, so I won. I won. Sorry, but I won.
Okay, that's cool. Is there so you plugged your Patreon, we have plugged your streams. Is there anything else you would like to plug?
I would say that if anything, if my Twitter at Ladehkan is a place where you can reach me and ask me questions to get conversations going. I think that's the only thing that I would like to, because I really like engaging with people in live streams. So with the stream, we already got that, and if you're willing to support, well, we got Patreon for that. So the only thing left is that I would really like, I would really enjoy to be able to talk with more people about all these things that we cover on the content that I create. So if you like to like fill me in on conversations, bring me in over Twitter for something interesting that you find, and if not, just like if you guys are regular to Shadow the Friend, I'll be watching you streams whenever I can. Because God, I really have a lot of things to do and so little time. But every time that I can, the people that I follow, like you and other specific streamers that are growing, I
Yeah.
I try to make time for that. So I will also be here like talking to you guys if it's a possibility for me, which I will really try, because it has been interesting. I really want to thank you for the space, and I do think it's an amazing idea, and an idea that it's also incredibly inclusive in the fact that you want to grow with others, and that kind of camaraderie is not something that you see a lot. So I really appreciate you doing this. It's been amazing,
And
and
I'm actually
I'm
very
honored that you invited me.
dude, I'm really thankful that you came on because
Sure.
when you start out you don't really have much to offer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the fact that you were willing to you gave me 2 hours of your time when you could be hanging out with your friends or like streaming, it really means a lot, because it's
Absolutely,
like
man. And
we
I know that you're doing the INB4 podcast, but if you ever want to do discussions, if you bring other people, just let me know, and we can do other discussions, and I'll
yeah
more
man,
than gladly be a part of your channel.
if you're doing something and you need my help or I can help you anyway, you
Absolutely.
need another person to talk or something like that, just you have me on Discord, and
Yeah,
then we can do it. So also, yeah, your
absolutely.
Discord. Let's spam that Discord link a little
Oh,
bit.
sure. All the links. Spam all the links.
Also, of course, there will be like a highlight video that we'll post on YouTube with all
Cool,
the
cool.
links, and
Thank you, man.
I really hope that people will see it and discover you because you're really a cool guy.
Thank you.
and really knowledgeable about streaming, and people could learn a lot from you. And
I
I
do
think
hope because I feel like I'm new, but I try to do my best to understand from people who know this in a professional manner.
yeah, and you're streaming WoW. Is that the only thing that you're streaming, World of Warcraft, or
I have
because
only been streaming that because hype join WoW Classic again, but I was thinking that could offer and I should offer a little bit more. So I actually will take input into something else people want me to try,
because
as well as choosing other games.
I feel like you could be really good at like giving advice on streaming, on
Really?
setup and stuff like that. Because I personally think you seem really knowledgeable, and you have how to say it, you have uh, learned yourself a lot of things by exploring and learning yourself how to set everything up. So I think people would be really
Sure.
interested to learn more about
Okay.
streaming and stuff like that from you. So if you maybe,
Okay.
I don't know, maybe you can do like a podcast, a professional podcast, not like me. I'm more of like I try to invite people, and then I try to talk with them and get some jokes out, more entertaining than educational. But I feel like you could be really like educational person, something that.
I feel like you don't give yourself enough credit, and that is an amazing idea, and I'll take you on it. But then let's do something. If we continue to do this, maybe we can do that dynamic to learn about streaming and what I have researched and other things that I have seen. I think that it would be. I think that you are the kind of person that draws out a good conversation from people like me. I don't think that I would be able to do it alone. So I think that that would be something really cool that we can do together. Kind
Yeah.
of trying to raise knowledge on how to do certain things on stream, and then we can mess with your stream in stream to say, oh, I want to change. Start just like doing some kind of break the stream kind of deal and do it
Yeah.
together if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, that's content, man. Everything's content. Do everything for the
Sure.
content. Okay, that's cool. So one thing that I ask my guests uh, before we finish is, what is something that what's the next thing that you're planning to do? It doesn't have to be connected with streaming, just maybe real life. What's something that's next on your goal list?
I I feel that the more I know about programming, the more I realize how I actually have been wanting, and I already am in the middle of it, trying to explore the things that I have not explored before. So I will probably be delving into that, kind of learning all the things that I haven't. Game development was one of those. Since I had never done it, I tried it out a bit to kind of understand, and I will be trying to uh, know even more to be even better at this programming stuff, and just kind of see how far I can really reach,
Hmm.
and then maybe use all that for the big project that I told you that that I create for myself, so in the later years I don't have to worry about livelihood more
Yeah.
than maintaining something that is my livelihood under my decision and that will probably help the livelihood of others. Because at the end, if I create a big project or a big company, that's jobs that I can give to other people, right?
Yeah. And that company would be like a media company, something like that, right?
Not sure, but I realize that programming is a field that can extend to a lot of things, and no, and programming for the sake of programming is not something that I like. Programming for the things that I love is a whole nother topic. So it would probably focus on some kind of gaming related stuff
Yeah.
with all this technology around it. But I realized from maybe 2 or 3 years ago, that it's not just about programming, that I would really like to fit in on a gaming company or gaming related programming projects, because that's my way of life. Gaming is my way of, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
It affects almost every level of my life.
Okay, then I will need a little help here from you. I'm trying to. So basically, what I'm trying to figure out is one sentence that I would like to write, like like INB4, pum
Yeah.
pum pum,
Oh, okay.
you know. So
Okay.
you told that you would like to be not self-employed, but like
I would like to create a project that's related to gaming and will bring more jobs to more people that want to work in this industry.
okay. Oh, okay. So then it would be like this: INB4, Ladehkan. So, just one moment, let me. INB4 Ladehkan. How do you say it?
Ladehkan.
Ladehkan.
Yeah, Ladehkan.
Ladehkan creates more jobs.
Well, that's one way to put it, sure.
Trump 2020. Ladehkan 2024.
2024, yeah.
Create more jobs.
God, that sounds so political, man. I don't like political stuff.
INB4 Ladehkan creates more memes.
Oh, I like that one better.
Yeah? Okay. No, seriously. Okay, INB meme jobs. Because let's be real,
Jobs.
no one is working. Everyone is memeing.
Yeah. Might as
Meme
well just be the
jobs.
new economic.
In the gaming community. Okay. So everyone who's watching on YouTube or the WOD, I want you to tweet, I want you to comment, I want you to go to Ladehkan's stream on MooGaming, and I want you all to spam in before Ladehkan creates more meme jobs in the gaming community. Okay? so that everyone knows it was on this podcast where he for the first time voiced his dreams, and then when he accomplishes them, you know it's all because of me. Okay? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just memeing. Okay, then let's take the selfie for my Instagram, because
Okay.
I'm repackaging the content.
Sure. Okay, what do I do? Oh my god, you're actually gonna do a... Oh wow, camera reception. No, two, one.
Perfect, beautiful.
Oh my god. I can't
Somewhere.
do that.
It's
That's funny as hell, man.
here, you can see yourself there in the background.
Kind of.
Okay. Cool, man. Okay, man. Again, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. It sounded like your friends had real fun there, so I'm sorry for for bringing you out of your friend group. They were laughing and having a good time. And yeah, you know, for the future we can collaborate, do some stuff, create some great content. Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks, man. So then
Yeah, we'll go.
I guess that's it for the podcast. Thank you everyone that maybe was lurking or saw this or will see this in the future. And then see you next time. Bye.